How the hell is it going? We are back, Man Cave Sports, with a special Vikings free agency edition. It's been about 2 months since you last saw us after the Vikings came up limp versus the Rams in the playoffs. Sucked after a great season, but I will tell you this, and I think the gentleman of the Man Cave will agree with me. It's been a very active free agency week for the Minnesota Vikings, and we are here to talk about it, recap it a little. I think, there's still some stuff in the air, things that could happen that we will discuss at the very end of this podcast. However, we just want to talk about this first week and all the action of our gang of purple. So, with that, let's talk first and foremost about the Vikings free agents that they re-signed and or renegotiated. I'll start out with Byron Murphy was a huge uh, uh, signing, bringing him back after a Pro Bowl year, in which I believe he led the league in interceptions, correct? Or was definitely right up.
No, but he had six. I mean, he
Yeah.
had a good year.
Yeah. I mean, played lights out at a position we really needed that. And obviously, we re signed our punter. We re signed, I will say this, and I like this because I thought it was something they might have been forced to address it in the draft, but re-signing Aaron Jones for 2 years at, to me, a reasonable price. 2 years, I believe 20 million is somewhere around that ballpark, correct? After he had what I thought was a great year for us, very complete back, and seemed to blend in well with the chemistry and the culture of the Minnesota Vikings. Really seemed to like it here, so I'm glad to see Mr. Jones back. The punter, is it right? What's the punter's name? I'll be yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, hey, he did all right last year. No pun intended. But and last but not least, they renegotiated him a little bit. I think he's getting 10 million. I don't know what his original contract was for, but Harry the Hitman is coming back. And I can tell you this as somebody that's been a Vikings fan utterly my whole life and really been involved and or watched the team for the last 40 plus years. He's one of my top 10 favorite Vikings. He might even crack the top five by the time he hangs it up, but Harrison Smith has just been tremendous for this franchise as a player and even a person and a teammate, man. So it's good to see
Right.
Harry sticking around for one more year. So, guys, let's talk about our free agents that stayed. We'll move on with some of the ones we acquired as well, but give us your take on the guys we brought back here for next season. Brian.
Well, you hit it. You stole my touchdown call, man, on the Byron Murphy. I think that's the hugest thing. I mean, we paid the shit out of him too. 22 million a year over three. That's pretty big for a cornerback. But our cornerback, we got Mekhi Blackman. We got the Isaiah Rodgers, which is interesting. I know that's a B4 pick, though. I mean, the guy was suspended for betting on his own
Hey,
team.
let's say that for the next segment. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. The one that it's Byron Murphy. Absolutely. There was bare bones. We lost Shaquille. We lost Gilmore. I'm still kind of happy that I think we might be able to get him back. And who knows what to expect out of Mackay his first year. I think that had to be addressed immediately. The one we signed to stay. I'm going Byron Murphy with you, Michael. Mr. Steve.
Yeah, I was glad to see the signings that the people we kept. I thought there are key positions. Theo Jackson, I think, is an underrated one, just because we didn't get to see him that much. But I think that's that's why they let Bynum go and stuff, because they thought Theo Jackson was better. But for me, I think the big thing is Aaron Jones. I'm going to go on the offensive side of the ball. We got, in JJ we trust, right? I'm all in on JJ. We'll talk more about that or whatever, but you've got to have a good safety valve for a rookie quarterback, and Aaron Jones is it. He's a good runner. He's a hard runner, but his hands out of the backfield, right? We probably won't see Aaron Jones get down the field as much. I'm guessing we're going to see Aaron Jones probably stay in that 10-yard radius, inside that 10-yard apron there, because he's going to be an automatic check down for JJ to hit, and he's dynamic when he gets the ball. So I really like that. with the rookie quarterback that we're going to be running. I think Aaron Jones, his personality, his presence, it's calming. I think it's great. His excitement and his positivity is infectious. I think he's a really good guy, not only because of his performance on the field, but also because of pairing him up with JJ at the quarterback spot. You've got a good running back that you can rely on and depend on. I think the Aaron Jones signing is going to pay dividends.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm excited about who they brought back. Let's talk about who they didn't bring back. And I'll mention the quarterbacks right away, but we will save the quarterback discussion as well for the end of the show. But obviously, Mr. Darnold had a great year and he got himself a bag. Went to Seattle 3 years for around 100 million. I think, was it 55 guaranteed, somewhere in that ballpark. But either way, good for Sam Darnold, who had a great season for us. At the end of the season didn't go as he and the team would have liked for, but props to him for revitalizing his career here in Minnesota and giving us a magical season. And obviously JJ McCarthy as of right now is slotted to start, but also departing was Daniel Jones, who we picked up after being released by the Giants last year. So two veteran quarterbacks, very notable quarterbacks departed. So we'll talk about the quarterbacks some more at the end of the show. But also departing, and I think this one is a significant impact, was Cam Bynum, signed with the Colts, I believe, correct? And yes, the Colts. Another casualty that happened today, I wouldn't call it a casualty, I would call it addition by subtraction. Ed Ingram. We got a 6th-round pick for him today.
Yes.
Oh, and I almost forgot, Mr. Bradbury. I think that's official, is it not?
Not yet, but if they can't find a trade partner, they're cutting him. So he's gone either way.
Yeah. So I mean, Garrett Bradbury, who's for where we picked him, has had maybe an up and down career, a little bit undersized to begin with, in my opinion. I think he was very serviceable, played some good seasons for the Vikings, and no ill will towards him, but another significant casualty, somebody that's been with the franchise for quite some time. So guys, talk about some of the purple that are departing from last season's team. I'll start with you on this one, Mr. Steve.
It's, Darnold, we kind of always knew he was going to go, and I'm fine with it, right? I think we got as much out of Darnold as we could get. We saw who he is. We had a great season. It was a fun season. We overachieved. Glad he got paid, right? I'm happy for the guy. He's got at least one season that he can feel really good about, right? And we had a great time with it. I think that the one that probably hurts the most, I mean, it was a little bit tough seeing Johnny Munt go, but just because I can't say hit him in the Munt anymore. But so that's that one is personally, when we're sitting in the man cave at the bar and we can't be like, that was kind of fun. But Cam Bynum, I get it. You got Harrison Smith, you've got Theo Jackson, you signed. I get it, but Cam Bynum was such a glue guy.
Got a good deal last year too, did he not? We extended Metellus for a while, so he's locked up for a bit.
Yeah, Metellus is locked up. Tell us with Metellus there, he's locked up for a bit. Cam Bynum, I just really, he brought such an energy. I mean, all the celebrations that we watched every year, right? That was all him. And like we talked about in some of the podcasts before, that's great for chemistry because you've got everybody top of mind thinking about, hey, let's get this pick, strip that ball, get that bundle, and it made turnovers, a big part of the defensive culture that they were focused on, get the turnover. We want to do this. Then they had a lot of fun doing it. And, when we've seen teams do things like that before, I forget which was at Miami or Florida State, they had the big chain and stuff that they'd wear years ago when they get a pick and a turnover on the sidelines. These are the things that help drive your team with intangibles. And that's one of the intangibles that I think that Bynum brought. So yeah, maybe he was a little leaky at times, but I think he was fine and he brought a lot to the culture. So I get it from a position standpoint, whether there's safeties that are better out there, especially for the price that he was going to get. They didn't want to pay it. But it's just sad. He was a great guy from all accounts. The celebrations were fun. The culture that he brought to the team. It was great seeing our Vikings and getting up on all the national news channels for all the cool stuff they did. That was a lot of fun. So I think for me, That's the only one that really kind of hits me as negative of this is, losing Bynum in that part of the culture.
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about Cam. My guy, B-Flow, knows how to coach safeties. Next man up, absolutely. But the guys that I am kind of like bummed. I mean, I'm not like, gosh darn it to heck, these guys are gone. But they're good guys to have on your football team. I mean, you need a second or third string QB. You need a nice tight end that is a third string and plays well on special teams. Always makes the catch. I met Nicky Mullins and Johnny Mott. Those are the two that Cam doesn't bother me that much because we're the safety factory. Yes, somebody will pick up the celebration lead. Absolutely. But two guys, two pluggers that aren't stars that I think you need to have on a football team are guys like Johnny Munt and Slick Nick Mullins. And that's what all I have to say about that, Michael.
All right. And now perhaps the biggest portion of the week, we talked about the guys we re-signed, the guys we let go. But I'll tell you what, regardless of whether or not you think they were good moves, the Vikings have taken the NFL by storm with their free agency signings this week. We knew, and we talked about it at the end of the season, how the future looked bright because the Vikings, I believe they entered free agency with 80 million in cap space. And I'll tell you what, they did not mess around in spending it. And I think you remember the old Wendy's commercial, "Where's the beef?" The beef is now with Minnesota because we went to the trenches. They improved in areas that they really needed to. I wasn't aware of this until I think yesterday or today, just how deficient we were at the defensive tackle position. I know Harrison Phillips has done a bang-up job, but probably playing more than he should have over the last 2 seasons. But the improvements that the Vikings have made on the defensive, especially at the tackle position and the offensive line, are just huge and significant. And I think even non-Vikings fans are just like, whoa, the Vikings aren't playing around. They're coming off of a good season, an overachieving season, and really beefed up both sides of the ball. So I don't even know where to begin, but, I'm trying to think of what would be considered the the most sexy move. I mean, maybe Allen. I don't know. You guys, I'll start with you, Mr. Steve. I know you love the line. You love the trenches, man. You're a big, big fan of the guys up front. Tell me what you think about their signings. And I mean, you guys can start rattling off who you like and why. But I mean, like I said, the Vikings have made a huge impact in this first week of free agency.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the defense. I've always been a defensive side guy, and I love the fact that we brought in these two big tackles, D tackles, Allen and Hargrave. I think, Nadi and I were talking before we flipped the cameras on here. And one of the things that you saw that was consistent with the way that you beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl, you don't blitz. You get pressure with the front four. And you'd be able to drive it. I stole that directly from Nani. He said that, so he gets all the credit.
Oh, wow.
But that's the truth, is that when we got burnt last year against the Rams and the Lions, it was that deep kind of, 10 to 20 yard mark when we'd blitz and we'd try to, Cashman did an amazing job against most teams to be able to cover that up, with his dropping skills. But it exposed our secondary, it exposed our weaknesses, and that's where the Rams and the Lions beat us, was with that, 10 to 20 yard, those in cuts and things like that. And that's because we had the blitz to create pressure. If the blitz didn't get home, we got killed. The only two teams that beat us last year, they beat us the same way. Bringing in Allen and bringing in Hargrave, both Pro Bowlers, both big guys who are, Allen's got 42 sacks in his career. These guys are known. He's got 400 tackles, 60 tackles. He's got all these things. 118 QB hits. Allen, for me, I think is going to be a great addition, not because of his size and his ability, but also because of, he's kind of known to be a good guy. from what I understand, in the locker room, and it, he was part of the reclamation project that was the Commanders, right? When they got rid of Snyder, and they were like, okay, we gotta we gotta change. We need to burn some sage and clear out the demons. He was part of that. Allen was. So I like Allen. I like Hargrave. But Allen's probably my favorite over there. Isaiah Rodgers, I love that you bring in a guy who just won a Super Bowl. Shore up that corner slot. So then now you've got even better talent, because Stephon Gilmore, to me, he can make great plays and then he can get burned and look like a fool. I mean, we watched Jefferson in the greatest comeback in NFL history smoke Gilmore at the goal line, right? So we know, and that's just. But we saw different things this season too, where it's like, Gilmore, where are you? Having these D tackles. These D tackles are going to make a big difference. You put these D tackles in, Harrison Phillips, Hargrave, Allen, and now you're unleashing Van Ginkel and Grenard, two of the guys that led the league in sacks with hardly any interior pressure. This defensive line is going to be scary next year. Not and you go nuts, bud.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be surprised for all the 13 viewers out there, but I'm going to go against Mr. Steve and go on the offensive side of the ball. We've had Garrett Bradbury. What did we draft him? 18th overall, 2018. We've had him for 5 years. This would be his sixth, I believe.
Yeah, so 7 or 8 maybe.
I mean, we've always had guard problems up the middle with Kirko, all that pressure from the middle, always. And then why can't we have any good guards? We had that one good year when Ezra moved inside. We had a year and a half of good things from Dalton the last 2 years, but it's always been a problem, those guards. I think he's a little too small, just like Mr. Steve said. He's better on the pass block than the run block. I think getting Ryan Kelly in here, he's 32 years old. I think it was the 2016 draft. He was drafted, I think 17th overall by the Colts. Strong player, multi Pro Bowler. There's a reason why Indy's ground game always seems good. James Taylor, well, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Jonathan Taylor, is he that good? I mean, when he gets hurt, Zach Moss starts running all over the place. I think we need a big guy in the middle there. And then I think our guards are going to be a little bit better. That's the highlight of our free agent haul for me. Michael.
What about Mr. Fries? That's the one thing where I've seen some people.
Buddy from Indianapolis. I love it.
Yeah, they played right next to each other. Next to each other. 1 and 2. Yeah.
I'm just saying the 5 years and $88 million. I think some people thought we might have paid a little too much for his services, but that's the only one I've seen where we've gotten questioned a little bit.
Yeah, but that's just Twitter dorks, I think, that you're questioning that. I haven't heard anybody on the, any of the talking heads on any of the shows or anything say that, oh, this is a negative, they shouldn't have paid that much. You brought in Kelly, you brought in Fries right next to each other. One of the strengths that they've talked about on the Indianapolis Colts consistently for the last 5 years has been their offensive line. Great. Go get them. We brought in their two middle guys.
And you gotta think, man. And Steve, you and I talked about this even while we were watching the games. I think we had the best tackle tandem in the NFL with Christian and Neil. And let's be honest, they had I can't remember how many games it was. Darisaw missed a significant portion of the end of the season, and even O'Neal, I think, got injured in the playoffs. Yeah. And and he was banged up. He was banged up in a couple of games, but he's so good. I mean, it's just like the offensive line for so many years was a weakness of this team, where now it's just like you're going in this year with some optimism. We know the skill position players, obviously JJ, Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones is coming back after what I thought was a very successful first season. It's just like, what's the question mark? And that leads me right into my next segment.
Oh, boy.
We will conclude with, on the offensive side of the ball, is the quarterback position. We talked about Sam's departure, Danny Dimes, who, I thought the Danny Dimes pickup was good because maybe we retain him for a year and he's next year's Sam Darnold as far as not necessarily having the breakout year, but insurance for JJ. Obviously, Nick Mullins, hey, the guy can throw the ball, but he is like, I'd call him Jameis Winston light. We know he can throw touchdowns, but there's a lot of interceptions that come with that, and not the
He's
personality.
exciting. He's exciting. Yep, he's exciting.
And not the personality that Jameis brings to the team. But
Oh,
I
that's
digress.
great, dude.
But I
Gold
digress.
flag.
But now I will say this: and it seems they're ready to roll with JJ as a starter. Obviously, letting Sam go and letting Daniel
You're
go.
gonna do it, aren't you?
However, there is this ugly rumor that is floating around the interweb, floating around talking heads. Even Mr. Favre, the old gunslinger, has weighed in on this. There is a certain quarterback who ironically played for Green Bay many years, had a great career, won a Super Bowl, much like Mr. Favre, went to the Jets. I don't know that he sent a picture of his wang to any of their beat reporters. But all of a sudden is now being discussed as a future Viking. And I think we're all on the same page. But Aaron Rodgers, and I did see today Pittsburgh picked up Rudolph, they picked up Rudolph. There's talk of that. Basically, there's three teams I hear about when it comes to Aaron Rodgers: the Giants, the Steelers, and the Vikings. And let's just talk about the 800-pound elephant in the room. Aaron Rodgers to Minnesota. Now it seems unlikely, however, with him being released from the Jets, he's guaranteed X amount of dollars regardless. He's going to tear up their cap. Good riddance, because Woody Johnson's probably the stupidest owner in the NFL, and that's with Jerry Jones still owning a team in the NFL.
Right.
And I feel bad for Jets fans. I just think that's the most incompetent shitheel of an organization in the NFL right now. Maybe Cleveland's trying to fight with them, and Jerry's always got a seat at the table when it comes to that. But this Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings things has me up at nights, because I will tell you this: I want no fucking part of it. But it is very intriguing. I will start out with you, Mr. Steve, because you and I have had dialogue on Twitter/X with people about this. Let's talk about the Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings rumors.
I know of no better way to destroy JJ McCarthy's career than have him saddled next to the darkness retreat diva that is Aaron Rodgers. I want nothing to do with his weird, ayahuasca swallowing ass anywhere near our chosen one. JJ McCarthy's a good kid. He's got a good heart. He goes and does a ton of good stuff in the community. By all accounts, he's been a winner every place he's been. His teammates have loved him. They loved his leadership, the way that he works. He subscribes to that servant leadership type of mentality of being able to work with his group. I want nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers breathing out that poison darkness retreat air anywhere near him. And that's just getting started. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers, we played Aaron Rodgers last year. Van Ginkel made him his bitch. Okay. He fooled Aaron Rodgers. Van Ginkel's got hair coming out his ass. It looks like a Wookiee on the field. And Aaron Rodgers couldn't see him. So I don't want anything to do with Aaron Rodgers on our team. He can't run that far. He's like, he throws a bad pass and he blames the receiver. I'm like, what are you going to do? Blame JJ? You're going to play Justin Jefferson or Addison for not running the right route? No, I don't want him to come to this team and never be like, oh, that was one team too many. He shouldn't have been there. No, culture, locker room, cancer. On the field, I'll take Danny Dimes. I don't care what Aaron Rodgers knows. Danny Dimes at least is more athletic. Aaron Rodgers, get him a wheelchair, a walker, and a bottle of ayahuasca, and you set him in the corner. That's all I got. Noddy?
Yeah. My job, being the village idiot of Man Cave Sports, is usually to disagree with you guys, even if I agree with you guys. But I can't do it this time. Absolutely not. No way. What I look at it, KOC is the quarterback whisperer. He's coach of the year, brought Sam Darnold back from the dead. No pun intended with the seeing ghost thing. The pastronaut, he loves that. KOC on every play, he's got the card and he's walking the sidelines. He's calling that play or the audible. Could you imagine the coach or quarterback coach whisperer, like having all of a sudden be 50% Aaron offense? I just can't see that. And yeah, no. But however, as Michael would say, however, JJ's. I'm a huge fan. It was the quarterback I wanted last year. But what are the chances of him leading us to a Super Bowl? Maybe, maybe not. No other rookie quarterback has done that other than Tom Brady, but that was different. We would be the team to beat with Aaron, but and it's you got to think about the other side of it. But now that I've thought about it, fuck that. No, Michael.
Well, remember this, if I'm not mistaken, and I know this because it happened to Dante Culpepper. If you didn't play your first season, you're not considered a rookie quarterback. So that whole premise that no rookie, Tom Brady, wasn't it his second season where he won a Super Bowl?
I thought it was his first.
Well, it wasn't his rookie season. He sat on the bench his rookie
Right.
season. I'm saying is JJ, despite not playing, it's not the NBA. The NFL works different. Remember, Dante Culpepper, I don't think he took a snap in 2000, and then he started in 2001, led him to the NFC Championship. What I'm saying is JJ is not, by definition, considered a rookie. So that's, and I saw that stat today too as well, Brian. That's thrown out the damn window. For me, I think you roll with JJ. I don't want Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I'll say this.
No.
I mean, it fulfills the prophecy, the whole Favre Packers prophecy, but I don't give a shit about the prophecy anymore.
No.
And Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but Brett Favre was different, man. The one thing that you saw about Brett Favre was his opponents respected him, his teammates, and they all loved him, respected him. When Brett came to Minnesota and they played the Packers, even after he sliced and diced him in 2009, Donald Driver, all these guys were coming up to him. They all loved him. And you can tell Aaron Rodgers,
nobody loves him.
Despite the greatness, he just does not seem like a very likable teammate. And the chemistry here is everything. I think we exceeded even our talent last year, but I'll tell you what, you looked at that locker room, you looked at KOC, Kwesi, and the culture that they've embedded in this franchise since they became a part of it. It's special. And it's not, I think if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Vikings get rated like number one in like a player survey of like teams to play for? And the players love playing here. Aaron Jones was with the Packers many years, and the Packers are a good franchise too, as much as we hate them. But most of the players love playing there, and they run a class organization. And I got to say, even though they drive me nuts, the fan base is a very loyal fan base of actual good people. It's not like Philadelphia. But yeah, I just don't think that he fits the culture here. Is he a winner? Is he a good quarterback? Yes, but I don't know what he has left in the tank. Last year, I thought he looked like shit.
He's better after about week 9 or 10, though.
He
off the Achilles. He did start to look a little bit better.
He wasn't, and he didn't have the talent to work with. But I mean, the days of Tom Brady, Brett Favre being able to play into their 40s, that's the exception to the rule. And I know he's on the wrong side of age. He's not mobile like he used to be, and he could scramble back in the day. And I would say this, the turnover number, when you've watched Aaron Rodgers over the last few years, part of that is very much like what you're seeing with the kid down in Chicago, Caleb Williams, where he won't take chances or make mistakes. That has a certain degree to do with the lack of turnovers, where Aaron did have 11 interceptions here. Either way, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has much left in the tank, and I don't know that he would fit in, even if it's for a quick fix to maybe go for a championship run this year. However, I will say this, and yeah, we're all in agreement. We don't want him here. I'm a little nervous about the backup quarterback situation, particularly when JJ didn't play last year. So, I mean, the jury's still out a little bit. I mean, we know he's a winner. He won a national championship, but I do not want Mullins as my backup. I think we had Rippon's kid on and off.
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, a name that I saw was floating around, but he got signed today is Gardner Minshew. I still think we need somebody that, God forbid, something happens to JJ, he steps in, and Mullins is not that guy. Be naughty, you might have somebody that's that guy.
I do. I'm looking at the guys that are left over, and I've been kind of looking at for about 2 days. The guy I want, Matt Jones, bring him over here. Go to QB University. He was amazing at Alabama. He was actually pretty decent his first year and a half in New England.
Didn't he just sign a deal? Like, I thought he just got picked up.
Did he?
I thought Mac Jones just got picked up.
I'll tell you what. I threw a name. You guys are gonna laugh. I know Mr. Stevo because I threw it on the intro of the other day, and I think he got a good chuckle. But just for the entertainment purposes, I wouldn't mind getting Jameis Winston.
Yeah, that guy's great, dude. Did you see that interview at Buffalo? He's like, "Good Lord Almighty," you know. It would bring some spice.
Jameis doesn't scare me as much as Aaron Rodgers because Jameis is just a little bit more of a goofy bastard than anything, you know. Like he just, you know, and he's going to be exciting.
Touchdowns. You're going to have to take the interceptions with it, but he can throw the ball.
It's a crazier version of Nick Mullins in some respects, I think, you know, because Nick Mullins will give you
version of Nick Mullins.
That's more entertaining. Yeah, much more entertaining version of Nick Mullins, that's for sure. The backup quarterback spot scares me. This would be a great place to have. I really wanted him to get Minshew. I thought Gardner Minshew would be perfect.
Went to the Chiefs.
Yeah, Minshew was a great. He's got that Fitz magic quality to him, you know, where he can come in and go on a streak for 2, 3, 4, 5 games and just be playing out of his mind. He's got kind of the same, big persona as Fitz did as well, but. It'd be nice to get somebody just that you can call in game or two, game manager, because with the offensive line and stuff and the weapons that we have, we don't need a lot, right? That's one of the things with the offensive line, Aaron Jones, your receivers, your tight ends, and now the improvement on the defensive side of the ball. If you need somebody to come in to win a game 23-20, we just need that quarterback. So I don't know.
Carson Wentz?
Still in the league?
I know.
He is. He's around. He went to the Super Bowl with the Chiefs last year, but I
didn't even realize he was one of their backups, if not their backup. So
right. Well,
that's not a bad one. Honestly, I would take Wentz over Mullins right now, to be honest with you. So I mean, maybe, and if they just sign Minshew, I would say he's available then, right?
Oh, he's a free agent.
But
that's
man. I'm trying to look here and see what's left out there, and it's like,
either way, it's slim pickings. Let's finish with this because there's one more name that's on the board, not quarterback, but one more name. I think he got released today or whatever that every Vikings fan is salivating over. Cooper Kupp, and to me, my assumption is somebody will pay him decently, but I'll be honest with you, I think the two-headed monster of JJ and Addison is great. It's top 3 or 4 in the league, in my opinion. You got Hawkinson there at the tight end. Hawkinson's top 5 when he's healthy. Naylor had his moments last year. I think the Vikings are set at the wide receiver position. I don't know what we have left for cap space, but Cooper Kupp, is it a possibility? And would it be a decent signing for the team? Steve?
Yeah, it's intriguing. It's very intriguing. Because now, Cooper's, he's north of 30, but, he still is quick, shifty, getting in the middle of the field, being able to, take some of the load from Hawkinson. It really opens up some of the route concepts, I think, with, JJ and with Jefferson and Addison on the outside. I mean, which one of the 3 are you going to focus on, right? You can't double all of them. I like Speedy though. I like Naylor. The guy's fast as all get out. He's a freaking cheat out there and he can fly. I think if you could get the price right and maybe a 2-year deal, maybe a 3-year with the third being an option here, you give him a 2-year deal. Fat signing bonus maybe and bring him in, because the one thing that intrigues me about it is you've got Cooper Kupp, Addison, and Jefferson. Which one are you gonna pick? Like which one are you gonna take out of the game, right? That makes it very difficult because Kupp's, Cooper will tear you up, 10, 15 yards, those in cuts. We seen him last year when he came back and destroyed us, right? He still can do it. He still makes an impact. I think that it'd be intriguing. I wouldn't be opposed to it if the if the contract was right. I think if we got a good contract, especially since we're pushing the chips all in, right? We just put all this money on the interior beef on both sides of the ball. Why not? Let's just roll that dice hard, and let's see if we can get it done in the next 2 years. So I'd be okay with it if we could get it at a decent price.
Brian.
Well, I agree with you. Cooper is like, there's huge fans of Cooper Cup at TCO Performance Arena over there. They love him. Wes Phillips, KOC, I believe the wide receiver coach and assistant special team coach came from St. Louis. They love him. If you listen to KOC talk, like in his weekly press conferences, like every other week, he brings up how Cooper Cup run blocked. Just little things about it. I know that I see it as a real possibility. But then as I'm thinking about it and salivating, as Michael did say, all us Vikings fans, about Cooper Cup being here, I thought about something. Those San Diego Chargers playing in that same stadium, they really need a wide receiver. He wouldn't have to move anywhere. You just have to go to the other locker room. Maybe they're even in the same locker room and he can keep the same locker. That's the only threat I kind of think. I think the San Diego Chargers or the Minnesota Vikings are the two teams in play for Mr. Cooper Cup. Michael.
All right, and we got to wrap this up because we have to do some Timberwolves coverage yet tonight.
Oh, boy.
4 minutes. So I will end with this. We talked about Cooper Cup. I think I seen some rumblings about Adam Thielen being released. Vikings fans, let it go. Let it go. It was a nice story. Undrafted, in case none of you guys ever knew that, from Mankato State, straight out of Detroit Lakes. Let it go. Adam, we love you. Great career here, but I think you're probably 39 now. Yeah. No,
he'd be up with the Panthers yesterday.
Panthers. Yeah, Panthers signed him up yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, they did.
2 more years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we don't have to have that conversation, but we'll hear the trade rumors in the fall from all the Vikings diehards. Anyways, so gentlemen, it's been real. Hey, thank everybody for watching the special edition of Skol Fockers free agency edition. Very active one I didn't necessarily see coming. I knew we'd be players, but man, it was an active week. A lot of stuff going on. The quarterback stuff has been fascinating. So we will be back for another edition of Skol Fockers, maybe pre-draft or post-draft. We don't have a lot of picks. I did see we got a nice compensatory for Mr. Kirko. And
by the way, we're going to get one of those again next year for Danny Dimes. That's the only reason.
There we go. Hey, Quasi cooking, Mr. Naughton.
Quasi cooking.
All right, gentlemen, I appreciate it. We will see you again. Thanks for watching Skol Fockers. Be good.